I went down the Reddit rabbit hole for job postings, and let me tell you, there's some pretty cringeworthy opportunities that are out there. So if you want to see some really poor quality employers, stick around, because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. So I was perusing Reddit the other day, and I came across some pretty interesting posts about job postings that people were finding that were pretty scary. And I know I talk a lot about high quality and low quality employers on this channel, and I'm going to show you some really low quality ones. So if you're not quite sure what to look for in a job posting, let's go and look at some pretty obvious ones. The scary thing is that these opportunities do exist out there. And essentially, I think it's predatory. These hiring managers who think they can do it. Now, these companies can only get away with this if we allow them to by accepting their offers and accepting their terms of employment, which are pretty awful, to be honest with you. So we're going to dive into some of that. So it does pay literally to arm yourself with the tools necessary to improve your skills, to make sure that you are able to effectively sell yourself in an interview so that you don't have to settle for this utter garbage that is on some of the postings that we're seeing. I've seen some of them in my own days of job searching as well, and honestly wish I could have saved a few of them, but there are a few doozies that I came across myself. And one specifically comes to mind where they wanted me to interview and they were aggressively pursuing me with this really high salary, which in and of itself was a warning sign that why they were paying double what the positions that I would normally consider are paying. So that's a red flag there when they're paying way more. But when I started digging into it, they wanted me to go through 3 to 5 hours of assessments. So say you invested the 3 to 5 hours of assessments, there was no guarantee that you were actually even going to speak to somebody at the end of it and get even a preliminary phone interview with a recruiter. You had to pass these assessments first. But it even gets better. Once you actually start to hear how the company sets up their work structure, I was absolutely not interested after hearing it, no matter how high the salary was. What the work environment was like, it was a fully remote position where they would have tracking softwares, productivity tracking and keyword tracking software. And you had to be productive with a certain amount of keystrokes. And there was a camera that would take a picture every 30 seconds or something like that. And you had to basically maintain a standard of productivity. And if you walked away from your computer, if you stopped typing or stopped clicking the mouse on certain parts of the screen, then you could expect a call from a productivity coach. Productivity coach essentially was a manager who would call you up and they would review your wasted time or your wasteful activities and look for ways to improve your efficiency. And they pitched it as some sort of great opportunity and a really great work strategy because they felt like you would be very productive. And by being very productive, you would be a happy employee. I'm sitting there scratching my head the whole time reading it and like, you got to be kidding me. This is not for real. And who would possibly want to work? I mean, if you have to get up to use the restroom, you would expect a call from a productivity coach unless there's a little timeout button or potty break. But I'm assuming that if you took too many potty breaks in a day, then you probably get that call from a productivity coach. But at the end of the day, no matter how much money they dangle at us, absolutely awful opportunity. And I very quickly declined to pursue their 3 to 5 hour assessment process. And the recruiter probably sent me 4 or 5 notes saying, hey, we're just waiting for you to log in and do your first. Like, no, I'm good. And the fact of the matter is these opportunities exist. So if you see any red flags, and I've talked about them in other videos, but certainly salaries that are way higher than what the rest of the market is paying, think of why they're offering that. They have to dangle an incentive, an extreme incentive to get people to want to work in that type of environment. So let's look at some of these job postings, and I want to share my initial thoughts with you on them and things that you should certainly be looking for as far as what to avoid in an interview. And honestly, have some self-respect for yourself. If you're actually considering one of these postings, I kind of want to come through the computer screen and slap you a little bit, because these are garbage opportunities. And if we allow employers to present us with garbage opportunities and we accept them, then we're just enabling the garbage to keep on happening. So let's jump into some of those cringeworthy posts and break them down a little bit. All right, so the first one I'm finding is, it looks like it's a live show programming assistant, and this one is a contract. It looks like a contract, well, actually full-time, part-time, and contract. And of course, this is based in New York City, which is going to be one of the highest cost of living areas in the entire country. And of course, the doozy in the first line is that they are temporary non-paid positions. So please do not apply if you cannot work without pay. I mean, let's be real here. How many of us can afford not to work without pay? First of all, I think that's actually illegal. In most states, you have to be compensated for pay, and there are some, depending on the state, it kind of varies from state to state. But there are regulations and rules set forth by the Department of Labor, where if a company wants to try to say that this is an internship and they want to get away with not paying you, they actually have to follow. There's a kind of a test that they have to take and apply to the job. And there's like 6 or 7 questions that they have to answer, and it has to be related to coursework and things like that. They just can't just arbitrarily determine that they're not going to pay you. So I'd actually venture to say this is probably an illegal posting. Second of all, they are looking for somebody who would be accountable. So not only do we do the job for free, but now we're looking for somebody who will be accountable to make sure each one of these programs is launched and set appropriately with the whole work to complete, with whole and complete work. So of course, this unpaid opportunity has a lot of responsibilities associated with it. And of course, they're going to ask for a bunch of skills. We need to be able to do administrative work, be fluent in Excel, follow up with emails and calls, and do all of this stuff, basically, for the kindness of their heart. And we're really looking to get great experience. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, and I would ask this person this: what exactly is this preparing me for? To be an administrative assistant? Because if that's the case, there's plenty of administrative assistant jobs out there that'll pay at least minimum wage. So essentially what this is a predatory company or predatory opportunity where they're looking to take advantage of somebody. And I really hope that nobody's applied for this position. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. By the way, if you posted these, feel free to shoot me a note, and I'm happy to give you credit for it. This one's just the educational part, and I think it tells the entire story. I'm assuming this is some sort of a software development role where they are looking for a bachelor's degree in computer science or equivalent. And as we all know, if you're in computer science right now and you have a programming background, that's probably the most in-demand job type that there is currently on the planet, and the highest paying on the planet as well. So this person, not only are they asking for the bachelor's degree in computer science, but this company is expecting essential experience of 5 years of development experience. So not only are they looking for the bachelor's degree in computer science, but they're also demanding 5 years of development experience and 5 total years of IT experience, all for the high wage of $11 an hour. Let's do the math on that. So I'm thinking if you're a software developer, you're probably even entry level. If you go to a decent company, you're probably going to expect to make at minimum 75 to 80,000 minimum, depending on, pretty much anywhere in the country. If you're living in San Francisco, the Bay Area, you're going to be even more than that. So $11 an hour essentially is $22,880. So essentially they are looking to pay somebody less than a quarter of what they probably should get on the open market for 5 years of development and IT experience. So if you are that hard up to get experience, like go to a boot camp or something. Like, do not apply for this job. This is absolute garbage. $11 an hour for 5 years of experience, including a bachelor's degree in computer science. I mean, that's not even a wage that you get paid at the local McDonald's. So come on. All right, here's another one. These ones crack me up because the amount of hoops that companies think that they can expect employees to jump through has gotten to the point of it being just obnoxious. And I think that companies are going to find, or are finding, that if they have such robust screening processes in today's market, and when I record this, we're in a pretty much a seller's market. And what I mean by seller is the seller of the service. So as a recruiter, I'm selling my recruiting services to a company who is the buyer. So this is a seller's market right now. And these companies are completely tone deaf to that. So I would love to see what kind of candidate flow these companies have if they're actually getting people. And if they are, I mean, you got to be pretty desperate. All right, so this one is saying that it is a agile coach, which project management, agile coach. They're probably looking for somebody that can lean out processes and improve things efficiently. So this is pretty rich considering that. So they're asking for us to, before we talk, please do all of the following. So here's all of the steps of this Agile Coach application process. This is like almost unbelievable. Send your resume in MS Word format. Okay. CC'd to this email. So not only that, they don't have apparently an ATS system that you can upload your resume to. You have to send it to an email. Number two, they have you need to send a LinkedIn connection request to us at their certain. Why would you require a LinkedIn connection request? I've never in my entire career have ever asked for or even tried to connect with a candidate unless I wanted to network with them because I thought that they would be a good candidate for other roles in the future. But asking you to send a LinkedIn connection request is absolutely mind-blowing. And let's face it, a lot of us don't even have the LinkedIn connection. So to go and create an account just to send them what are they looking for? I have no idea why they would even do that. Then they want you to read a LinkedIn article about our market differentiator called Agile Mentoring Program. So they're sending you to do homework before you even get a commitment for a first call. Then they're asking you to watch a particular video. So you have to read an article, then watch a video, and then you have to ensure that you're able to use Zoom video. So, that's probably reasonable that we should know how to use Zoom if we're going to be doing a Zoom and when you connect, they want you to check the connection. So that's probably something that you should do, but to be spelled out in your actual instructions to set up this first interview is pretty ridiculous. Then we've got, you will be interviewing with the recruiting director. You have to match your availability to hers with free busy. I guess it's some sort of a scheduling software for 30 minutes. Then they want you to send a text message with your name to the recruiting director. This is so bizarre. They let you know to let her know that you are successful getting Zoom to run on your system. So you not only do you have to get the Zoom running on your system, but then you have to send the recruiting director a text to her phone number, letting her know he or she letting her know that you are successful. Then you have to review all these tips and follow them for the interview. Then they leave you an entire other process to follow. This is and the funniest part about this is that this is for an agile coach. What about this process is agile? There is not a single thing about this process that is agile. And these it's like clown show over here. If you are a self-respecting agile coach and you apply to this position, I honestly think you get what you deserve because this is so bad. Please don't apply for this job. So this next one is actually a request to do a project for your second round of your interviewing. So I'm assuming that you made it through the first round and now you're on to the second round. And this looks like a rotational management program for a major retailer. The issue that I have with these ones, these second round projects, is assuming that there are 7, 8, 10 people going through a second round interview. I don't know how many people would be going through this, but essentially what they're doing is they're asking you to put together a project. And if you look down at the bottom here, it says candidates spend an average of 6 to 8 hours creating their project. And then you only have 15 minutes to present, 15 minutes for Q&A. So you're committing to 8 to 10 hours of it's an entire work day. And if you're going to school, I'm assuming this is entry level. If you're going to school and you're doing all this on the side, now you're spending your entire weekend probably preparing for this without any guarantee that you're even going to get on past the second round. Say they're asking 6 or 7 people to do this project and they only intend to hire one person. That's a huge waste of everybody's time who is not selected. And I have an issue with that. And honestly, if it was me and I was asked to do this, I would have to really sit down and think long and hard about how bad I wanted this position, because self-respecting employers don't ask candidates to do this type of thing. And the only time I've seen this maybe be a successful approach is if you're in a really senior level position where you have to sell your business idea to a senior level leadership and they want to see how you present. That could be the only thing. But even still, asking somebody to put together an 8 to 10 hour presentation is not at all candidate focused, and the candidate experience is terrible. especially for the people who do this project and then don't get selected. A better route to go, if this company really wanted to assess how this person thought on their feet and how they created apparently pricing strategies and product placement, is give them an assignment to do at the interview itself and have it only be a 20 or 30 minute prep time, and then see what they come up with. And that's a lot better candidate experience because you can see how they operate right then and there under a little bit of pressure. I'm okay with that. But to ask somebody to put together 6 to 8 hours of a project on a position where there's no guarantee they're going to move to the next round is I think it's very poor. So this next one is a real doozy, and I'm assuming this is for some sort of startup, but this is an opportunity, as stated in it looks like the latter half of the job description, that they preface or stress that this opportunity is not for people who need a stable and well-paying job. It's like, who doesn't need a stable and well-paying job? Isn't that the whole point of being on the job market? It just absolutely blows my mind that people think this way and think people should be excited about their crappy opportunity. And he says, we have a deep compassion for those in need of financial stability, as we are in the same situation. So the company is admitting that they're not financially stable and they may not be able to pay you, but they want to stress that money is not all of our motivator for this company. Well, guess what? If it's your baby, maybe you can get away with that. But when you're expecting other people to come into your work for your baby, you better be paying them, because that's what they're there for. So their goal is to fundraise soon. But in the beginning, the salaries will be slightly below market rates. So what that means is that you're not going to get paid to market, and you probably never will. They're probably going to ask you to work insane hours and dangle that carrot just out of reach. Here they go. They're also saying that they don't want somebody that wants a job with stability, because early stage startups have shifting priorities. So you probably are working with a very inexperienced management team who can't get funded and doesn't know if the doors are even going to be open the next day. This person, here's a good one. It needs to be told constant direction, needs mentorship, needs to be told what to do. So essentially what these people are admitting is that they will not be able to provide you mentorship or to tell you what you need to be doing, because they probably don't know themselves. All right, so they said that they are looking for somebody. So not only do you not have stability in your job, but you're going to get paid very little to do it. It's like, I just wonder when they're rating these things up, do they actually think to themselves like, ooh, they're going to love this? And okay, so they're saying that they are looking for somebody who has a fire in their eye and wants to pursue a massive impact project and help build a legendary company that will benefit the owners of the company only. It's something who's willing to live on the ramen and instant coffee lifestyle. But they promise you that they're going to have an amazing dinner after they raise their first round. So you can work those 80, 90 hour weeks, get paid $30,000, $40,000 less than you're worth, but you're going to get a nice dinner, probably from some chain restaurant nearby. Oh, and here you go. It's they're also expecting a doctoral degree, or at least a master's degree in either materials science, engineering, fiber, or poli science, chemical, all this other stuff. And you have to have had experience in a lab-based experiment. They can't even spell experimental right. Experimental role, but can quickly improve the deadline. So essentially they are looking for a unicorn who went and got a doctorate, who wants to work underpaid role and have no stability and get a free dinner after months and months of long hours. So that's pretty awful. All right, and for the last one, this one is hiring a part-time legal administrator. This is part-time legal administrative assistant paying $15 to $18 an hour, which is, it's probably just right in the middle of the glut of what those companies should pay. But this is an exciting an opportunity. They're pitching this as an exciting opportunity that appeals to you. They're going to list out a lot of instructions that you need to follow for a part-time position paying just the middle of the road or slightly below middle of the road for a part-time. Oh, it's a part-time and a contract position. So they want you to prepare a cover letter. They want you to with no more than 2 paragraphs and a closing sentence. And in the first paragraph, you need to explain what you believe the 3 most important qualities are that are needed for a person to work in this particular client, and why you believe that they're the most important qualities. This is like a book report from high school. And then they're going to ask, in the second paragraph, they're asking you to explain why you applied to this particular job, this crappy part-time contract job paying middle of the road wages. They're asking you to explain why you're so excited about this. So then they go on to say that you have to close your paragraph with, I have read the instructions contained in the job posting and have followed the instructions, because you're too stupid to apply to the job without following their stupid instructions. It's so insulting that if you apply to this job, please don't apply to this job. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're just attracting crappy jobs, I do have a website called lifeafterlayoff.com. Make sure you check it out. I think you'll find some value there. It'll help you, teach you how to not have to settle for this kind of garbage. Hey, if you found some value or at least some entertainment value in this video, sure would appreciate that thumbs up, because it really does help the channel grow. Also, consider hitting that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any future posts. And if you find any cringeworthy posts of your own, feel free to shoot me a note with those links. You can send it to me through my website. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.